The game we've been waiting on for so long is about to begin. The final showdown between Team Isagi and Team Rin is finally here. Rin starts with the ball but passes it on to Bashira. Isagi goes to guard him but is faced with Bashira's max speed scissors feint. After that, Bashira does a step over into a sharp turn, thinking he left Isagi in the dust. But when he looks to his right, he sees Isagi still being on his tail. Bashira realizes that Isagi must use his abilities of the field to position himself in the best possible position. Isagi taunts him and asks if he can't get past him, but then Bashira does some more scissors and gets behind Isagi and thinks that he's fine now. But just then, the furious Barou comes to pressure Bashira. Bashira has no choice but to pass it to Tokimitsu, but it was already too late, because Isagi had anticipated Bashira's move and had already went to steal the ball away. Isagi sees Nagi running, so he passes a long pass straight to him. But Rin is giving Nagi some trouble, because the players Nagi usually face off with just rushes to the ball. But Rin is waiting to see Nagi's move, making him a lot more dangerous. With Rin blocking Nagi, there's only one thing he can do, and that's to leave it up to the speed star himself, so he taps the ball with his foot, making the ball go into a free zone, which Chigiri runs to in no time. Chigiri gets accompanied by both Rin and Aryu, but manages to get the ball behind both of them. And with only the bluelock goalkeeper in his way, Chigiri scores with ease, making it a 1-goal lead to Team White. Bashira can now see how all of the players of Team White has evolved, and gets excited, even bringing his monster out. The game is back on, and Bashira starts with the ball. Isagi thinks about what Bashira will do, but then he sees Aryu running on the side, but lets him be, because he's marked by both Nagi and Chigiri. In the meantime, Barou comes to pressure Bashira, who makes a cool pass without even looking. The pass is heading to both Aryu and Chigiri, but as we know from Isagi's and Rin's first encounter, Aryu is dangerous in the air, so he's able to grab the ball in the air with little to no effort from Chigiri. When the ball is on the ground, Aryu passes it on to Tokimitsu, but Tokimitsu is already in a fearful battle with Barou, so he's left with no choice but to pass it to the man himself, itoshi Rin. But luckily, Nagi comes to mark him down. Thinking that Rin would shoot, he tries to take the ball from him, but when he does so, he realizes that Rin wasn't going to shoot, but was instead doing a feint. Isagi and Chigiri both goes to guard Rin, but one more is still waiting to come into the fight. That one is Bashira, who comes to back up Rin, making it a 2v2. Rin goes into a shooting stance, and Chigiri does the same as Nagi did, and also gets hit with a feint, leaving Rin in Isagi's hands. Isagi knows that even without a chemical reaction, Rin is a monster with countless possibilities in his arsenal, which he shows now as he shoots an incredible shot which goes right into the net, once again showing the true power of itoshi Rin. But after the goal, Isagi notices something. He notices that he is closer to Rin than he was in the last game, and knows that to win this game, Isagi himself have to devour Rin, and that's the only way they can win off. Barou screams, hyping every player in Team White up, and with that, the game is also back on. Nagi starts off with passing the ball to Chigiri, but Isagi is worried for him, because he sees that Rin has positioned himself in the perfect spot to respond to whatever Chigiri decides to do. And with Bashira marking Isagi, there isn't much for him to do, but all that changes when Nagi gets thrown into the mix as well, because now Bashira has to be more careful for him too. So when Bashira looks over to Nagi, that's when Isagi gets behind both Nagi's and Bashira's blind spot and is in the perfect position for a pass. Chigiri sees him and passes. But Isagi wasn't the one to get the pass. No, it was Rin who had already predicted the play. Rin gets behind Isagi, but is greeted by both Barou and Nagi, so he decides to pass it on to Bashira. Isagi was able to back up in time for Bashira, and Bashira compliments Isagi, telling him that he has come to a point where he can actually rival Rin. After that, Bashira makes a super long pass to Aryu, but Aryu isn't going to have it so easy as he is accompanied by both Nagi and Chigiri. But all of that won't matter because Bashira's pass is one that only Aryu can reach. Aryu jumps right into the sky to meet the flying ball, and when the ball is in line, he heads the ball right into the goal, making a spectacular goal, giving Team Red a 1-goal lead, but also creating a chemical reaction with him and Bashira. But Isagi and Nagi is both filled with excitement from Team Red's last play. Nagi thinks that the only reason he is able to think like that is because of Ryo, and apologizes for leaving him behind, and hopes that Ryo will one day forgive him. Before the game starts, Isagi tells Nagi that it's their turn to devour them, and with that, the game starts. Nagi notices that Isagi is always in a perfect position for a pass from Chigiri, but so is Rin. Nagi comes to the conclusion that both of them are able to read the field in the same level, but in the end, Isagi always falls short compared to Rin due to his lack of physical stats, and that the both of them can predict the same play, but Isagi will always fall short with one move from checkmate. To stop that, Nagi decides to become that move, so he runs in an unpredictable zone of the field, crushing both Isagi's and Rin's understanding of the field. Chigiri sees Nagi, so he passes, but Rin reacted so quickly to the pass, so Nagi lets the pass go so that the pass can go to none other than Isagi. When Isagi gets the ball, he sees Nagi running at full speed and understands that both of them is able to see the same future. However, Rin is able to keep up with Nagi's and Isagi's play, so Nagi has to improvise. and so he does by pretending to shoot but actually trapping the ball to then shoot a beautiful volley into the goal, which makes the game even. Even Rin himself felt the heat of their last play. Also, with Team White's last goal, Isagi is now determined to win against Rin. We can see Bashira on the side saying that the monsters are coming out. Isagi knows that to win this match, it isn't enough for him to be on the same level as Rin anymore. He has to go even further and get ahead of Rin. Before the game starts, Rin tells Team Red that from now on he will control the field, and if they want to win, then they have to keep up with him. And with that, the game is back on. Rin passes one of the best passes I have ever seen to Tokimitsu. Barou goes to block it, but gets hit with Tokimitsu's shoulder charge. With that done, Tokimitsu passes it on to Rin, who passes the ball straight to Aryu, who jumps and traps it with his chest. With the ball back on the ground and Chigiri in front of him, he has no choice but to pass it to Rin. Rin and Bashira is headed for the goal, while Nagi and Isagi tries their best to protect it. When Nagi goes in, thinking that Rin will do a feint once again, he gets it so wrong, because this time Rin does a roulette. But right after Nagi comes Isagi, who tells Rin that he can read him now, but Rin responds that he is 2 steps behind as he passes the ball onto Bashira. Isagi understands now that Rin was just testing everyone's abilities to make them dance for him, and that everyone on the field is Rin's marionettes. While that happens, however, Bashira scores an amazing goal, giving Team Red a 1-goal lead. But before it's over, Rin tells Isagi that he was just a puppet sideshow, with everyone on Team White finally understanding the true power of itoshi Rin and that the whole field is in control by him. Team White knows that to score they have to make plays which goes beyond what Rin can imagine, and that they will have to go all out to win. But that's not all, because behind the scenes, the king was quietly and secretly sharpening his fangs. The game starts and Nagi passes the ball onto Isagi. Isagi sees that Rin and Bashira have switched places and decides to bet on Chigiri's speed. Chigiri uses his speed to get behind Aryu in no time. Chigiri sees Nagi in the middle, so he passes, but the pass goes into a tight 2v2. To help Nagi, Isagi makes use of Bashira's blind spot and gets behind him, creating a pass from Nagi. But to his surprise, Rin is already there to greet him. They go hand in hand, struggling to get the ball. But a wild animal has been waiting for this to happen. He has been quietly waiting for the ball to come to him. And when the opportunity comes, he goes in and steals the ball. Now it's only up to him to score, as he does with ease, making it 3-3, and he tells Isagi to let him devour even more. Isagi now knows that Barou is the key to cracking Rin. When Team Red gets a bit scared, Rin assures them that he has already inputted him and that it won't happen once again. The game is back on, and as usual, Rin is starting with the ball. When the game starts, Isagi tells Chigiri to go all out and hound whoever has the ball, and so he does. He first goes to mark Rin, which forces him to pass to Bashira. Bashira wants to dribble through, but Isagi is carefully keeping his distance, so he looks to his left, where he sees Chigiri rushing to him. Bashira manages to just in time keep the ball. With nowhere to go, Bashira decides to challenge Chigiri to a one-on-one. It's a very close duel due to both of their strong abilities, but Bashira manages to break through. But Isagi was already waiting for him behind, as he's now a 2-on-1. I meant a 3-on-1 because Barou is also coming to join the party, as he somehow manages to go in and steal the ball. Barou sprints to the goal, but gets accompanied by Tokimitsu, but that's no trouble for Barou, who does a chop feint and gets behind him in no time. But someone who is trouble for him is Rin, who had predicted Barou's play and was waiting to steal the ball. The ball goes out of bounds, making Team White get a throw-in. Isagi and Rin understands that whoever succeeds in taking control of Barou and the field will win this game. Bashira looks at the fired up Rin and Isagi and says that both of them are monsters. And Bashira is happy that he can finally play football with these monsters. But that's when they go right between Bashira, which makes him realize that in their world, Bashira doesn't exist, and with that, he asks them to not leave him behind. Back in the game, Isagi and Rin was going head to head, but Chigiri was able to come between them and kick the ball away. Isagi asks Chigiri if his knee is okay, but Chigiri assures Isagi that it's fine, and if Isagi loses to Rin because he's worried for Chigiri, then he will personally kill him. Isagi takes a look at all the players and sees that everyone is running low on gas, and he knows that this will have an impact on the game. The game is back on, and Rin passes to Tokimitsu, who passes it back to Rin, but Rin passes the ball back again to Tokimitsu. Isagi sees why Rin is so determined to pass to Tokimitsu, and it's because the two of them are breaking through Team White's formation, but he wonders how it's possible for them to do it so easily. But then he understands that the key isn't Rin, but Tokimitsu, who is a beast with unlimited stamina. But even then, Team White has their own beasts, who tackles Tokimitsu and gets him down. But with that also comes 2 yellow cards for Barou and Chigiri, But that's not even the worst part, because Team Red is given a free kick, completely in Rin's range. Isagi tries to figure out what Rin will do, if he will pass or shoot, but before he's able to react, Rin has already shot a killer ball right into the net, giving Team Red a 1-goal lead. Rin knows that Isagi was debating whether Rin would pass or shoot, but he tells Isagi there was only one option for him, and that was to score. Bashira has realized that both Rin and Isagi is playing football for the sake of their goals, and to find their true egos. Because of that, Bashira starts to wonder what he is playing football for. Is it to find a monster, or maybe to make friends? No, it can't be something like that, he says, and is now determined to find his true ego. Team White is now in a very difficult position, both with the scoreboard, but also with the players' emotions, which is all over the place. Isagi realizes that his mistake wasn't that he was unable to stop Rin's free kick, but instead he should have stopped the play before that with Rin and Tokimitsu. If Isagi had seen Tokimitsu's incredible stamina, then he would have been able to stop it. When Isagi thinks back to Rin's free kick, he realizes something. The only reason why Rin shot the ball above Isagi's head was because he was there and not someone else. This opens up a new world for Isagi, who has now a new formula which could lead to Rin's defeat. Team White is now more pumped than ever before and is ready to give it their all. Isagi has the ball and runs with Barou. Barou thinks that Isagi is signaling to him to lose Tokimitsu so that Isagi can pass him, but instead Isagi uses both of them as a bait to get behind. With that, Bashira goes to mark down Isagi. Nagi screams to Isagi to pass him, but Isagi knows that Rin is carefully lying and waiting for the next move, so the only thing Team White can do is to make use of Chigiri's incredible speed. With the ball at Chigiri's foot, everyone runs to Team Red's goal, but the only one who breaks out of the crowd is Isagi, who now runs to Chigiri, telling him to pass, and so he does. With no one there, Isagi can make use of his direct shot to score. Or so he thought, because Rin comes from behind him and stops him. They go head to head fighting for the ball, but the next move they make will decide it all, and because of that, Isagi decides to bet it all on this one trick. Isagi will use the blind spot of the genius himself to keep the ball with him, but this leads to both of them having their backs against the goal and being unable to shoot. Or so it might seem, but we can't forget that the egoist himself, Isagi, has the ball, and because of that, he tries something new. He tries to shoot a direct shot backwards with his heel, which goes right into the net. With Isagi's goal, the score is 4-4, and he says that he has now devoured Rin and that he will surpass him. Team White screams out of happiness because of Isagi's miracle goal. Barou asks Isagi if all of that was planned, and Isagi tells him that it was, and that he has a specific formula to beat Rin. Team White decide that in the last play, they will win and show them who is the better team. Back to Bashira, who is still wondering about the ego, which he is lacking in order to catch up to Isagi and Rin. Bashira knows that his ego isn't enough for Isagi and Rin, and thinks about what it is that he should be wishing for. Rin tells Team Red to bring out everything they got, and that the final goal will be Rin's. The game starts with Rin and Tokimitsu trading passes, but this time Barou is here to set a stop to it. Tokimitsu passes the ball back to Rin, but Isagi had already predicted the play, so he went to cover Rin. Isagi ends up just barely missing the pass. Rin passes the ball to Aryu, who traps the ball with his chest, but now with the ball in the air, Nagi jumps to steal the ball from Aryu, as he does for around 1 second before Aryu jumps even higher to steal it again. With Isagi focused on marking Rin, no one is paying attention to Bashira, who is running freely behind them both. Bashira has the ball, but is unsure what to do with it, so he asks his monster what he can do to make Rin and Isagi see him. But while that happens, Chigiri comes and takes the ball from Bashira. The ball goes to Barou, who is already in a battle against Tokimitsu. Nagi runs to Bashira and asks if he is throwing the game and what he's doing. He ends it all with telling Bashira that if they win, they won't choose him anymore, but instead choose Rin, and that Isagi feels the same way. Those words cut deep into Bashira, who says that he will win even if it kills him. Barou is in a heated battle against Tokimitsu, so he passes the ball to Isagi, telling him that he wants it back, but he gets more to just getting it back, because him and Isagi do a 1-2 pass to get behind both Rin and Tokimitsu. While everyone on the field is fighting for the ball, there is one person left behind, trying to do everything not lose and get left behind. That person is Bashira. He is scared to go back to the days of playing football by himself, but that's when he realizes something. He's been afraid of being alone and left behind by both Isagi and Rin, without even noticing, and that's what has been holding him back all this time. With Bashira's newfound motivation, he gets behind Isagi to slide tackle him, but Isagi is able to move just in time and getting away a pass to Chigiri. Chigiri sees Nagi in the box and passes to him, who passes the ball to Isagi with his chest. Isagi sees his shooting point and shoots, but while all that happens, Bashira asks for one more chance, which he gets from Rin, who saves the ball with his head. The ball falls back to Bashira, who now runs with everything he has to Team White's goal. While doing so, Bashira's monster is slowly coming out, but this time, Bashira tells it to stop, telling the monster to go away and that they can't rely on him anymore. He thanks the monster for getting him this far, but ends it with telling him to disappear and that he doesn't need the monster anymore. But the monster doesn't listen and instead tries to tell Bashira what to do. Bashira admits that his habit of seeking a monster has become like a routine for him, and that the monster, which once was a hope for him, has now become a curse. Bashira wants to become someone who can play soccer by himself, without someone else. And to do that, he has to disregard the monster and play by himself, which he does. Instead of passing, he goes by himself and gets behind Isagi. Chigiri comes to block him and Aryu comes to back up Bashira, telling him to pass. But no, Bashira has left the habit behind. So he does an incredible double nutmeg to get behind Chigiri. Barou comes from behind, trying to drag down Bashira, but is no match for this new wild version of Bashira. To stop him, Team White tries to all surrender him, making it into a 4 vs 1. But Bashira isn't going to let this stop him, because he lifts the ball up and hits the ball with the back of his foot. After that, he gets on the ground and lets the ball fall into his head. After that, he gets the ball to his foot and then kicks it over all of the Team White players. But Nagi grabs onto Bashira, and just then, Bashira sees Rin running on the side with no one after him. But Bashira is still determined to not pass the ball, so he does some kind of crazy spin to get off of Nagi. Now Bashira is alone against the goalkeeper, and before he shoots, he says goodbye to Isagi, who played football with him until now, and says that he will go back to his original ego. But that's when the true hero comes along and blocks Bashira's shot. Even with all of Bashira's crazy stunts and tricks, it wasn't enough in the end, as Isagi blocks the shot with his foot. The ball goes up in the sky and falls at the feet of itoshi Rin, who scores the final goal of the match. After the match, Rin decides that Isagi will be the one to join their team, reuniting Bashira and Isagi once again. And that's how Bashira left this monster behind. And wow, rereading Bashira's growth and just this match in general was amazing. There was so many things I had just forgot about, like Tokimitsu's incredible stamina, but please tell me what you thought about this match down in the comments. And if you like bluelock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you to subscribe to the channel, and while you are down there also leave a like and a comment, as he helps out a ton with the algorithm. And if you are curious to see how Isagi crushed the king, then please watch the video, which will be popping up on the screen right now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.